What up, virtual people? Welcome to episode 18 of Fandom Spotlite's VCR Redux, where we take your favorite franchises out of the analog era and bring them back to 2021. I'm your host, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined by my co-host with the most, film professor Ian Klink.
How you doing, everybody?
And we have two radical guests on the show tonight. First up, our own honorary third host from Rick Barth and the Line. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine, you blow my mind. Mickey Torres is on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And rounding out this righteous crew, he's an author, a producer, and he's coming to you all the way from the Lone Star State. Chase Hildenbrand is on the show.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good to be here.
We are here because there's something rotten in the state of Denmark, and Arnold is the cure. That's right. We're here to talk about the tour de force of action filmmaking that is Last Action Hero. But before we can claim a new next Last Action Hero to sit atop this throne of awesome, we need to talk about how it came into our lives and what we love about it. We'll start with Chase, but that also goes for you guys watching at home. Hit us up in the live chat with your Last Action Hero love letters. So, Chase, do you remember your first Last Action Hero sesh?
It's been 20-something years since I've seen that movie. So I don't remember it very much. I remember that as a 8-9-year-old kid, however old I was, I really, really liked it. And somehow I got the Terminator references and I got all the references, even though I was way too young to see a lot of that stuff back then. But I really enjoyed it. And I watched it the other day, brought back a lot of good memories.
I feel like the Terminator references is like his own separate entity of what people love about this movie. That Stallone poster is just incredible.
Oh, genius.
Ian, Mickey, you guys remember your first times with Last Action Hero?
I actually saw this at the theaters.
Okay.
I don't know why I went to go see it. I really don't, because
we're already starting.
I'm like, I'm just telling you right now. This is a horrible movie. I'm sorry. I'm gonna get a lot of hate, but I'm just telling you right now. And
turn off his camera. Turn it off.
I was just watching it. Again, and I'm like, this still sucks. I'm like.
The worst thing you could say about Last Action Hero is that it's a masterpiece of shit, and a beautiful one at that. And the best thing you could say about it is literally like the last action, piece of old school action filmmaking. But we're gonna get into all that soon enough. Ian, do you remember your last?
First off, they said Starry Night was a piece of shit. It's now in the Louvre. Shut up, Mickey. Secondly, yes, I do remember.
You're comparing this to a work of art.
It is a work of art, you crispy dragon. Listen, it is delicious. It's the best art ever because it's an art.
I can show you some art, in a little bit after I watch this again.
Listen, first off, you're kicked off the show. Secondly, and I remember the most. This was. I want to say this again, like most of us, we always talk about this. This was a Saturday night HBO. That I do remember this. I didn't get a chance to go see it in the theater. I do remember, though, wanting to go see it in the theater because it had that great trailer where it's Arnold doing Shakespeare. He's actually holding the Yorick, and I remember thinking this is an amazing movie. But I actually had the toy first, so this is true. I actually my mom got me the action figure of what was his character's name?
Jack Slater?
No, not him. It was the villain. The one the RoboCop
Benedict.
2 villain. Yeah, but who's it? What's the actor's name? He was in Manhunter.
Charles Dance. Oh, delicious Charles Dance.
No.
The Ripper?
The Ripper, yeah.
Tom Noonan.
Tom Noonan, thank you. Yes, I got Tom Noonan's action figure from Last Action Hero before I saw the movie. So I had this really cool action figure where you pulled the thing on his back and the arm went up and down with an axe. I had that before I saw the movie. So
proof positive that we had the coolest toys ever back in the day.
Dude, everybody can make fun of the 90s, but if you grew up in it, it was awesome.
There was a lot of awesome to be had.
There was.
So I saw this in theaters for the first time with my old man. I think it was, they just built a new like mega theater in town that had like 10 screens. It was a big deal. So we're literally driving by it one day. We're like, oh, let's go see, that new Arnold movie. Okay. And I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good, but it is like the weirdest of Arnold's, by far the weirdest of all his movies. And this is the guy who made Hercules in New York. And I love it for being
obviously
so
you've
weird.
Never seen The Villain.
Oh, there's also that other one, the
Village?
something.
No, The Villain.
The Villain. No.
Yeah, it's him and Kirk Douglas, and it's literally a Roadrunner Bugs Bunny movie.
Oh my god,
but
sounds
like
amazing.
played real. Oh, it's gaseous. It's horrid, but damn if it isn't beautiful.
That sounds amazing. So I do want to touch on the chat quickly. Alex Bonafonte is here, as always. Thank you for joining us, Alex. He says Last Action Hero, so ahead of its time. Also says he bought into the negative hype and avoided the theatrical release. So he's kind of on your side there, Mickey. He says he watched it on paid cable at a friend's house and it was hilarious. So no, he's not. Haha.
Yeah.
Good taste.
What I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, there's a lot of people that love this movie. I don't know why. To be honest, I thought it was just horrible.
There's a lot of people that like you, Mickey. We don't know why, because of your taste. And
I agree.
I'm just kidding. I love you, Mickey.
My mom tells me that all the time.
I'm done ripping on Mickey until he says something else that's dumb.
So some more in the chat. Our friends at Retrofiend Radio say saw most of it on a date in Oceanside, California at the drive-in.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
Yes.
A drive-in date for Last Action Hero. Oh my god.
But like, what happened? Did the girl break up?
Yeah. Were you Jack Slater or were you Austin O'Brien?
Watch the movie. Yeah. I'm sure you really had a critique eye on that movie.
I mean, it is a good movie not to watch.
Yeah, if you're anything like me, you were sitting there on the date.
Damn it, Mickey!
Like, this is John McTiernan parodying John McTiernan through the use of Die Hard, and Shane Black parodying Shane Black because of Lethal Weapon reference in here. And we will get into all that stuff because it is kind of meta.
You can say that, but I went to film school with some of those people, so don't discredit. They're out there.
Our boy Alex in the chat. Our boy Alex in the chat says the U.S. audience wasn't ready for satire of action epics and the height of action epics. I think he is right. You're on to something, sir. Also, hello from Angie and Mike Saunders. Thank you for tuning in, guys. They are genius mashup making duo. Mike's favorite scene is when they were in the Blockbuster and he sees the Stallone cutout and says, "Oh yeah,
the Stallone cutout." Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's that's probably why I do what I do, making mashups and stuff too. With things like that are just burned into my brain. Like I need to have this poster.
The cool two cameos in there too. Angie Everhart and Bobby Brown, the model.
There's a lot more than just that. When they walk in the police station,
in
there's Sharon
that
Stone,
Blockbuster.
Robert Patrick.
I'm meaning in the Blockbuster.
Yeah, the Robert Patrick cameos.
Right. Yes.
There's a lot of cameos. A lot of cameos.
Oh, it's genius. Yeah. Well, and it's funny that this is the first movie that I remember actually calling out all the secrets of movies that I remember watching going, oh, wait, there are secrets. Yeah, like in a weird way, it opens up your mind to how filmmaking is made, even on a simplistic level. Like, for instance, the 555 thing. This is the first movie that calls out the 555 number.
Yeah.
And I actually remember they were very upset. I remember reading something. They were upset over that. Yeah.
Really?
Because that gave it away. And they had to do that for safety reasons. Obviously, you don't give out real numbers in movies. But they were like, you can't actually say that. You can't do that. Well, why? That's the whole point. We're saying this is a movie. This is what you do in movies. So...
It's a very behind the scenes movie. I will give it that. Like, it felt kind of like you were in like a Hollywood backlot. Like, and you were just kind of like watching the behind the scenes of a making of an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And you got all these slices of weird other things like Arnold and Hamlet that makes like no sense other than to be in the trailer,
Yeah. Yeah.
So they could see like Arnold like shooting Uzis and like smoking a cigar in, like in ancient times, which is great. I mean,
And let's not
it's
forget
worthy.
about the Danny DeVito cartoon cat.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
their third.
Oh
Cartoon
my
cat is amazing.
God, I forgot
Yeah.
about the cartoon cat.
Whiskers.
Oh,
Yeah.
That cat is one of the best men I got.
Yes.
I will
my
say this:
God.
every cop movie, I want that guy to be the police chief.
Yes, I forget his
Yes.
name off the top of
I
my
know, I
head.
forget his
He
name,
did
but
the
I know-
same exact role in Loaded Weapon 1, and it's brilliant both times.
Yeah.
He was also in
What is it,
The
40
Wizard with Fred Savage and Jenny Lewis.
Yes.
He's the truck driver.
Yes.
Spanky,
Oh, God,
I think,
yeah.
or something
That,
like
get,
that.
that gets them to the big game, right?
Yeah, and he's like, he's at the roulette table, and this like 10-year-old girl is like, the pass line, put it on the pass line. And she's like telling him how to gamble. It's like this
Yeah.
would never, But not to get, we'll get into the Wizard one of these days on VCR Redux.
Way
there's
better
a lot of
movie.
weird.
No, we will not get into the Wizard on VCR Redux. I'm not doing it.
You can take a sick day because it's a brilliant.
I
brilliant
no,
movie.
damn it, no.
Now that's a classic. That's a
It is
Got
actually.
everything.
I do like that movie. All right.
It's brilliant.
It introduced the
Um,
Power Glove. Of course, I like that movie. Get out of here.
It's got kids and skateboarding, the Power Glove, the Universal Studios, everything that was cool at the turn of the 80s into the 90s. But we're here today to talk about Last Action Hero, of course. This is another mini disc movie. I just have to mention this before we get into the behind the scenes stuff. The last movie we covered was Time Cop, and this is actually from the year before Time Cop. And these are like the two movies that are like, we're going to push mini disc. And I understand why they did it in this one because
He
Sony
has
owns
it.
Columbia.
Yeah.
But I don't understand that thing in Time Cop where they're like, yeah, mini disc is definitely the musical, device of the future. I believed it. I bought into it. I had all the mini disc gear, and we just need to take a moment of silence. in honor
The
of
first
disc.
mini disc, like little side note, first mini disc I ever saw, like I went to like the Wiz or something like that, and I saw a Michael Jackson mini disc, and I don't remember if it was bad or what it was, but like I just remember seeing it. I'm just like, what is this? Like,
If it was bad, then it was so good because that would be amazing. I'm just like, I love movies and things and albums on weird formats like mini disc or like like laser discs, any of that weird shit. Movies on 8mm tape, that is like one of my favorite things ever. Airlines still use that apparently. But the chat is going a little wild today. There's some follow-up on the Retro Fiend Radio Last Action Date here. Says, nah, took her in the back seat. Actually, it was a good night. Yes.
see,
That is
my
proof
man,
that
50 grand.
Our good friends at Retro Fiend Radio are just that much cooler than we are. Also, new name in the chat, Movie Squad says Junior sends its regards. There's some F. Murray Abraham love, of course. We kind of got to talk about that. That is a good meta part of the film as well. The whole like, watch out, Jack, he killed Mozart. Mo who?
Oh. Any movie, I will say this right now, any movie that stars F. Murray Abraham, shut up and take my money.
Right.
I don't care. I don't care if he's a villain, the good guy, just plumber number 4. I don't care. It's F. Murray Abraham. Take my money.
I did love the soundtrack, and that's what brought me into the movie. I'll be like, I'm super like, if the soundtrack,
DC, man, big
Megadeth was
on.
in that.
Oh,
There was a good soundtrack. So
You
like, I
got it.
remember
Yeah, you
seeing
cannot
that.
sleep on this soundtrack, man. It was legit.
They had to pay big money too.
Oh, this
What?
look, my favorite thing about Last Action Hero. There's a great book out there, guys. If you haven't read it, it's called Hit and Run. And it's basically about how Peter Gruber and John Peters came in and just destroyed Columbia Pictures. The amount of money that they spent to get this movie to be the movie of the summer. And let's face it, what killed it? They released it a week after Jurassic Park. Not before.
Oh.
They released it a week after Jurassic Park and didn't move the date. They just said, nobody wants to see dinosaurs. They won't look real anyway.
Arnold knew because he just did T2 and he was like, look, the same guys that did the T1000 are doing the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And Stan Winston's doing the practicals. He's like, and Spielberg, like, we're going to get crushed. He begged them to move the release date and they foolishly did not.
How much did this movie make? Do we know?
It made only 25 million at the box office.
Wow.
Opening weekend, right?
This is well, not opening weekend, like throughout the theatrical release, but
really 25 million US. That's it.
That's it.
That's weak.
It's because of one of our fans just said, the negative reviews. It got destroyed in the negative reviews. Completely.
We may have lost Chase.
We lost Chase. He'll be back. I think he's trying to get back into the room. But it totally just every mistake you can make. I think this is the first movie they actually advertised on a rocket going into space. This is a true story. They actually put an advertisement of Last Action Hero on a rocket going into space.
I don't remember any of this.
That's amazing.
That's why I bought.
I remember it was like, you saw just as much like fast food shit for Last Action Hero as you did for Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think there was like a McDonald's or Burger King had
some collector's cups and shit like that. Which God, I wish I still had all my old collector's cups from the '90s. There was some great movie merch that you could get for free basically back then.
I have some of the Star Wars ones.
I have the Batman Forever glass cups from McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have those.
Very important. I have to touch on this in the chat. Our buddy Twyan Lannister, aka Dustin from Retrofiend Radio, says, shout out to legendary henchman Albert Leong, who has his best death by an ice cream cone to the back of the head. It really is. I did just rewatch it, and I'm just sitting there like, it's almost distracting. That whole scene, that's like Al Leong's scene.
Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah, he was Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
He was in Die Hard. He was in Lethal Weapon. The man is in everything. He's
hey, Chase, welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, lost you guys completely. Had to relocate.
That's all right. That's all right.
No worries.
We're just talking about the budget, how this movie just bombed at the box office.
What did it make?
25 million. But this is one of those movies that was saved apparently by home video. This is a movie that Blockbuster really brought into the black. Plus, you got the, I remember this movie playing on HBO like every 5 minutes because, and we've talked about this before, HBO during the day had to fill it with kids entertainment. You couldn't have hardcore action movies. Last Action Hero, who's going to, PG-13, hardly swears, no naughtiness. So, HBO played this all the time. So, they made their money back over time, but it just,
and plus it's been like a cult classic over the years too.
Oh, it is great. Yeah. So what's your favorite death in this movie, Chase?
Favorite death. One of the ones probably in the big fight in the house when Arnold's away. I'm trying to remember like specifically. They all went by so fast, but that was
I just remember that girl just screams
great
all the freaking time. I can't remember the actress's name, but his daughter in the movie. Yeah, his daughter in the movie. She just has this.
The girl from Billy Madison.
Yeah, that's it. That's where she was from. Yeah,
Sonya Blade too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I hate you so much now, Mickey. You totally.
And she was in Oliver Stone's Nixon. just giving her credit and higher learning.
Yep.
5 people in this whole entire world know that fact. Why do you know that, Chris? Why?
Bridget Wilson is one of the ultimate '90s babes of all time.
Oh yeah.
Like just ultimate.
Nixon. You the only one who knows about a Nixon fact. Good God.
It's a brilliant film.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just so impressed.
Let's not derail the whole thing. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater here. Shifting focus back to Last Action Hero, if we could.
No, we can. Yeah, it's just joking.
We can. Oh, there's some talk. Yeah. I think in the thing, Alex Bonafonte says she's the OG Amazonian babe. I would have to agree. Yeah, she's probably one of the reasons why I've always liked girls who are taller than me.
Well, when you're my height, they're all taller than you.
How I envy you, my friend.
I cannot.
Shout out to Bridget Wilson, though, because I know you're watching, Bridget, and you're welcome to come on the show anytime.
Absolutely.
So we got to talk about Charles Dance, though. Charles Dance, incredible, right?
I liked him. Yeah, obviously, classic.
You know, they originally wanted Alan Rickman. And
Oh, man, that
Alan
would've been
Rickman
awesome.
He would have been great
kept-
too. He would have
It would have been great, but he was asking for more and more money. And McTiernan kind of like, you know, helped Alan Rickman cut his teeth in Die Hard. So you would think
He read the script. He read the script and said, like, I got to get all the money I can make. Because if I'm going to make this.
to be fair, that there's probably a large amount of truth to that. But to show you what a cool guy Charles Dance is he had T-shirts printed up that said "I'm cheaper than Alan Rickman," and he wore them like behind the scenes, like around set every day.
I mean, there is kind of Alan Rickman is what at Target. Charles Dance is at Walmart. I mean, it is kind of fair to say.
Ooh, calling the man from the Golden Child, Walmart. Come on, he's at least Kmart.
My dear brother Noomsy.
I want the knife. What? Well, let's just be honest. I mean, we all, at least for me, I always remember he's the guy from Alien 3. You know, I always think actors have that moment where you remember them from something, but I didn't. What is wrong with you all in this Chase? Help me out here.
What's wrong with you? Alien 3.
When I think Charles Dance, I think Game of Thrones.
Alien
Okay,
3,
if you're
AKA
in
Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm just done, dude. I'm done. You know. Anyway,
that is so
but
mashup,
I
I'm
agree.
doing.
He was
Jesus.
wasted in Alien 3. You know, and so to get him as the villain in this, I was excited. I was.
He was much more
Yeah.
criminally wasted in Alien 3 than he was in
Yeah.
this. He was really good in this.
Yeah.
He got to be Charles Dance, whereas in Alien 3, no one got to have fun. They all had to walk around and act like they just got poop in their pants or something. Like, I don't know. If you think about that's the subtext of the whole movie, it makes sense. I swear.
I'm not gonna be able to watch it the same ever again now.
So
I
there
don't
is
even
some-
know why you would watch it again, but
There is some
I was
talk in the
thinking Alien
chat.
3 and
Got it.
never plan on
Mickey.
watching it again.
Let's go
There
to
is some-
let's go to the parking lot. I'm tired of this. Let's go. Like I'm done with this.
Oh, to be or not to be.
not to be.
So there is
That
some talk
would
in the
be a
chat.
great commercial for Tubi television. They're on that's a gold mine right
Ooh,
there.
Yeah. That's as good as the guy from RoboCop in the Dollar Tree commercial.
I'd buy that for $1.
So there is some talk in the chat, there's some confusion. Some people think I was saying Bridget Nielsen. That is not Bridget Nielsen, it's Bridget Wilson, like Wilson Sports, tennis ball, Mr. Wilson, Dennis the Menace, you know, Woodrow Wilson. Yes, Bridget Wilson. Not to be confused with the also great Bridget Nielsen. There's already a whole Red Sonja thread going on in the chat.
Pretty much
so.
everybody ever married to Sylvester Stallone is in this movie.
Hey, the man is living his best life. Who are we to say the nene? The Nano. I just watched Pootie Tang. Give me a break.
A better movie than this too. Another
Yeah, only
better movie
Mickey.
than
Only
this.
Mickey gets that reference. Fucking A.
All
That's
right.
a brilliant movie.
I can't. Goodbye. Have a good night, everybody. I can't.
We are all over the map tonight, and we just lost Ian, but he's back
I'm
and
back.
he's ready to talk Last Action Hero, like we all are. I don't know if you guys have like a favorite line. You know, we talked about favorite kills and deaths. Have a favorite like one-liner or like wink or breaking of the fourth wall moment in the movie?
I mean, I like that to be or not to be line. If I had to
Okay.
choose one.
That was pretty.
Yeah.
I will say this. I like when they grab the double machine. He like breaks down through the skylight and grabs the machine guns and like
And
points it to
guys
the
shoot
bad
each
guys
other
and they
with them.
only because those guys really get into it. They do the, you know, and that's my favorite thing about action movies. When you get guys who get it and are like all about the dying moment, you know, because you could die and just be like, and just fall. But if you like really get into it as a stuntman and you're just like flailing your arms and you know, squibs everywhere, just you got my money. You should be in every action movie ever.
You know what else I love about that scene? It has one of my favorite sound effects in it, and that is the gut-wrenching scream and fall into distance. And it was in like so many 90s action movies. It's that really over-the-top, deep man voice scream that just like, yeah.
I know the one.
Away.
I know the
it's
one.
I do like
it's
the other
literally-
line. The other
What's
line
that?
when he's like when he gets to the funeral and the kid who, by the way, this kid is annoying.
Austin
I
O'Brien,
mean,
yeah.
I don't even know if he ever did anything else, but he
Look,
probably
my girl
should have.
Prehysteria, you jerk. Are you kidding me?
Man.
No.
You
no.
know, something that's almost
My Girl 2? What is
My Girl 2?
Yeah, My Girl 2. So you bring
just
up
gave-
that
you just
My
gave me
Girl
a Def
2.
Leppard mashup, by the way.
First off, don't you dare come after My Girl 2. All right. That movie was far superior, and it has Richard Mazer. And we all you don't mess with Richard Mazer when it comes to me on this show.
That's
This is
right.
true.
All right. Let's just
But
all agree to that.
That aside, I like the line when the kid's like, "Oh, stay in." Arnold's like, "Stay in the car." And he's like, "I don't stay. I'm not going to stay in the car. I'm going to get killed or whatever." He's like, "There's a gun in the glove compartment or whatever like that." And he opens it up and there's like tons of guns in there. Whatever like that.
Oh yeah, that's good. Tom Noonan too, like just one gun, Jack. Like, and then like all the guns hitting the floor by his feet. That's a good. They do that. There's a lot of similarities between this movie and Loaded Weapon, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon, which we all have to cover again on here one day because that movie deserves legions of sequels. There should be more of those than there were Lethal Weapons. But there is some stuff in the chat that is actually making me just lose my shit and laugh out loud because Alex Bonafonte touched on our Alien 3 convo, and he said Alien 3 to retcon or not to retcon. I would have to say to retcon, sir.
Knock it off.
I usually hate that word, but in the case of Alien 3, retcon that shit all the way out of there. There's some favorite line stuff, a lot of hello, I'm Arnold Braunschweiger. And our buddy Dustin says it's the Rottweilers forming the cheer pyramid is one of his favorite moments. That's definitely good. I think, I gotta just, as much as I gotta go with the Stallone on T2 poster. I mean, that's just like amazing. That's like probably the first poster mashup in the history of then, that predates the art form by like 20 years, but that's probably why that art form exists today.
Now, here's something that was going through my mind when I'm watching this or rewatching this. But I was like sitting there going like, was this like, I mean, obviously Jurassic Park was a long movie as well, and I saw that in the theaters too and fell asleep, but whatever. I digress. In any event, the 2 hour plus movie, that kind of started around this time. I can't remember a lot of the movies. T2, you think was the first one?
Oh, big
go
time.
over 2 hours.
Yeah. Oh, T2
way long.
Yeah. Okay. But I just remember just sitting there like watching this movie going like, when does this thing end? And now we sit through like 3-4 hour movies.
Oh, well,
and
you sit through 2 or 3 hour movies. I say to heck with it. No way.
A lot of them are not as good now, the 2.5 hour action movies. Chris Nolan does a lot of really good ones, but
no, unless the words English and patient are in it, I'm not sitting through it. No, not going to happen.
Did you watch the 4 hour Justice League?
No, God, no. Jeez.
English patient?
It's excellent.
Sexy.
Look,
and there's some defense.
That is a classic Academy Award winning movie. And if you didn't cry in it, you're not human. All right.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it. I'm sorry.
Well, come after me for you haven't watched it, huh? Okay,
Speaking
gotcha.
of Academy Award-winning films, our buddy Dustin from Retro Fiend Radio is in the chat saying, dude, My Girl 2, the La Brea Tar Pits, come on.
Bam!
And yeah, I gotta agree.
Mickey.
I
That's
gotta agree
right.
there. But I gotta then ask, what is it with that fucking kid, Austin O'Brien, in the La Brea Tar Pits? Is he like
Because he's in this
Tar
movie
Pit
too?
actor?
Yeah.
Is this movie too? And is there something in Prehysteria there? I remember the movie, but I didn't see it.
Oh,
I wouldn't be shocked.
Probably. I mean,
probably something to do with the La Brea Tar Pits. It's like he had the market cornered on the movie shot there.
What other movies
I almost feel like I almost feel like they could have got a better kid. I just think they cast it really poorly for him. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
would you want the kid from The Sixth Sense to be in this movie? Like, what?
He was too young.
Like 6 years old at the time.
Yeah, he was young.
And you couldn't get Eddie Furlong again, even though he would have been, the movie would have been better.
That would have been too meta. That would have been too meta, though.
Because
that would have been too. Yeah, I mean, you had to go with the fresh. You had to go with the fresh face. I mean, I don't think he was in anything before this.
They should have just thrown whatever money it took at Macaulay Culkin, because I feel like
he would have been
the only kid that like could have made that side of the equation work.
Joey Lawrence.
Too old at that point. He was already like 16, 17.
That's true.
He's got the baby face and all.
Yeah,
but
Blossom, man.
Oh, his brother, though. His brother.
Matthew. I think Macaulay Culkin. You don't think Macaulay Culkin would have gotten kicked out?
He would have been on. He
Yeah,
would
I
have
think
been
he would
awesome.
have nailed it.
Yeah, he would have gotten. Yeah.
Was him and Arnold in a movie?
No, but they should have been because
guess
their
they weren't,
careers were both over by the end of the 90s. But I'm just kidding. We love you. We love you both. We know you're both watching. Come on the show, please. You know, the weird thing about this movie, though, I think where the movie kind of falls apart, and you've talked about this a lot, Ian, when you say don't invoke a better movie, and they do that heavily because I think Jack Slater 4 is a better movie than Last Action Hero maybe would have been.
Yeah.
That's not saying I do love, and Robert Prosky, oh my God, Jonathan Lundy from Mrs. Doubtfire, he's a brilliant.
Yep.
And Christine, that guy deserves an Academy Award every time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. Like, I would have been much more interested in watching Jack Slater 4, the movie, than this.
Definitely. Like, that's kind of sad, but I think I would imagine that, because I know there's multiple drafts of this movie. I think the first one was Zach Penn and someone else. Zach Penn later gave us the early X-Men films. And then later it was rewritten by Shane Black, ironically, who's like, the movie was like an homage to his work. I even saw an interview with Zach Penn where he talked about, he's like, what? You're getting that guy? Like, he does these movies when they're good. Like, why is he writing this? You know, we're supposed to like make this kind of bad.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you feel like this movie like was a complete movie? Or do you feel like at some point, I mean, I know you guys love this movie for the fun of it, but like, you have to admit at some point this movie kind of just loses track of what it is.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I feel
when
like
they come to New York, honestly.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I was about to say when they come to the real world.
Yeah.
The real world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's some cool moments there, but most of them are just shit, and you want to get back in the Slater world because it's way more fun. You know, it's like Charles Dance, like every scene he has in New York is great, but like other than that, Oh, and Rick Ducommun playing Tom Newton's agent. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great, but the rest of it just sucks. I'm sorry, it does. Oh, the Grim Reaper, that was good. As a kid, I thought that was Patrick Stewart. I didn't realize it was Ian McKellen until like years and years later.
Yeah, I just feel like that's. I mean, it's some of the stereotypes or some of the things they did was kind of like when he shoots the guy in the street and says, I just shot a guy with nothing. Like New York was rough back in the day, but not that rough.
Yeah.
I'm like there was a guy across the street, literally like walking. Like, I mean, like you don't think that he would have at least ran back in the building or something like that.
That is funny though. Like in a world
they had to.
Oh, sorry. No, we're gonna say Chase.
I was gonna say they had to establish the stakes of the New York world versus the stakes in the LA world. Yeah. Where it was just, Arnold's running away from 50 people with machine guns shooting at him, comes across perfectly fine. And this one, they had to establish the stakes.
Yeah.
But it is funny though, in a movie so hell bent on pointing out movie cliches, they commit one of like the biggest ones of the time, which is like New York is hell on earth. Like you can just kill people in the street. No one cares.
Well, okay, here's the ultimate question too. Should it have been Arnold?
Would it have been better with Van Damme? No,
gosh, no. But what about Willis? This is the height of Willis too. This is Planet Hollywood years. I mean, would it have been better with Stallone? Would it have been better with?
I mean, Stallone
would have been good with.
I think it would have been better with Willis.
I don't know. Maybe it could have worked with Stallone.
Did you just say Damon Wayans, Mickey?
Yeah, he would have been awesome in this.
He wasn't an action star.
He wasn't in it.
No.
He is in the movie. That's right. He is in the movie. So is Van Damme and Chevy Chase.
For like a second.
Jim Belushi.
But I feel like the humor would have been awesome too. I think he could have done it.
Jim Belushi's cameo is probably the best of them all, though, because the way he plays it is so I don't give a shit that I'm here or that I'm in this cameo. He's just like, I don't know. I'm not really into it. It's just she's a big. I don't really like Arnold like she does. Arnold really turns her on. I just want to be here when it happens.
Even Maria Shriver in it is pretty funny too, and she's sitting there like, "Don't plug the restaurants or the gyms or anything like that."
And she calls him a low forehead too. It's like that's the Arnold thing. Remember, Stephen Lambert was on the show last week talking about that. That's Arnold's call you a low forehead.
Oh, that's right. He does.
Whatever that means, I don't know. Something no one could ever accuse me of. But yeah, so there are a lot of ways the movie could have been better. like I think another round on the script would have like tightened up the third act a lot. But speaking of that, we are past the half-hour point, so we probably should start to digress and talk about how we could bring this back. Has anyone got any hot takes? Get Kid and Play and do class action hero, or like something ridiculous.
Oh, you should be ashamed.
Right.
You should be ashamed of that one.
I'm sorry, that's better. That's already an improvement over the original. You got Kid and fucking Play. They're magic and they never fail, and you know it.
Got my money. Got my money.
In your bitter, jealous heart, you know they're both visionaries.
I actually want to watch Class Act now.
Yes, mission accomplished. I don't know who. First of all, I mean, you're gonna bring this back. Who can possibly do it? Because I mean, it's almost tempting to say get old man Arnold and do it like making fun of him as like the old action star. Like with the Expendables kind of stuff and all of that. Because no one, not even The Rock, no one can fill his shoes, really, of what that movie celebrates Arnold's career, and like we don't have a star who has like a lineup of films like that.
See, and that's how I was actually going to go with. I actually think you should do this with The Rock, and in real life, in the real life when he comes into the real world, it's pretty much a reboot, but pretty much doing the same thing. Where they're actually rebooting Slater, and it's now The Rock in this new world. Mm-hmm. And when he comes out to New York, like it happened, like basically the same stuff happens again. It's a rehash for this generation, a la Space Jam, but actually done well this time. And no offense to any Space Jam fans out there, I'm sure there's not a whole lot, but bring it back. And there's Arnold. That's how you save it. You save Arnold for the big cameo at the end where but it's not Arnold. It's actually Slater from the movie who's now, Terminator style, is now old living in New York. And it got very meta there, I know, but
okay.
Think about that.
I feel like you're sort of warm. To me, The Rock alone doesn't get it done. Like, I need The Rock and someone else. And I wouldn't have The Rock be a rebooted Slater. I would have The Rock be a new character.
Like would you do like Jason Statham? I mean, you can't do
kind of what I was thinking, sort of,
You can't do The Rock and Jason Statham, but I almost feel like you could do Jason Statham by himself.
I don't think Statham gets it done either.
I don't know. I mean, then there's Vin Diesel. I mean, there's like, like you said, there's so few action stars that have a lot of movies to do this with.
Yeah.
So
it's really
that's what I said. The Rock.
Go with The Rock.
I mean, really, he really is the Arnold that we have today. There really is no. I mean,
if you're trying to bring in the kid audience, you're going to get more kids in the audience with The Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is very true.
That's true.
Forget it. Let's bring in the Seagal. Let's really do this.
Oh, I'll tell you what. At their advanced age, if you had Seagal and Van Damme today, you'd have a hit. You figured out a way to like make them buddy cops in like some Slater-esque movie, and like I don't care how fucking old they are, you'd have a goddamn hit. It'd be beautiful. I'd watch anything that has the two of them in the same scene together, like anything.
They're both like 2 weeks away from being retired, and it's like one last caper.
Yeah.
Why not? It could be incredible. Last Action Heroes.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, so the sequel would have to be, you could do that. You could do Last Action Heroes, and you have two.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, Last Action Heroes.
Another wrinkle, okay, and I was thinking about this.
For somebody that hates it, you sure do have some good ideas there, buddy.
So there is some talk in the chat a little bit I want to touch on. Retro Fiend Radio says they love it when Ian is fed up with Chris and Mickey. You must love the show then. Alex Bonafonte says,
it's really happening this show. This is
really happening.
It's really happening here.
Our buddy Alex Bonafonte says, ooh, the chat just jumped on me. Where did his comments go? He said something. Oh, he says, I say no to retconning in general. Dustin, to which Dustin agrees. Angie Saunders is pleading that the first My Girl is superior to the second. New name in the chat, Jason Rio. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
It doesn't have Richard Mazer. I've been over this 1,000 times.
we know how you and I feel about Richard Mazer, and we are probably members of a sadly far too elite club. There needs to be more Richard Mazer love, and I know he's watching, so come on the show, Richard.
Please.
There's actually an interesting thing from Kyle says Liam Neeson to lead as the last.
Oh, you could do Liam Neeson. He is as close as we've got.
Kyle also suggests Keanu Reeves, and this whole idea that like Reeves and Cruise are like the new action stars. Like I get it, these actors that you taught action to, but I feel like that's that may be too far removed from the tone and the spirit of the original. I don't know, but I do like the idea of Liam Neeson in the Charles Dance role. I think Liam Neeson is the villain.
Okay, yeah, I can
magic right there.
Oh, but and you put like Liam Neeson and Keanu together though, like Keanu's the hero, and you got Liam Neeson as the villain, or if you're going the heroes, the two of them to partner up together would be kind of cool.
The only thing that would work with Reeves is if he plays a real jerk, because the whole thing is Keanu Reeves is actually this really amazing guy in real life. As long as his character from the movie world is just a complete a-hole, that's.
I feel like he would be into that. When you watch him playing the villain in Bogus Journey and like the older dickhead version of himself in Face the Music, you cannot tell me that man is not having fun. He's having much fun in those roles.
If you put his character from Knock Around or Knockoff or whatever, Knockoff, I think.
Knock Knock.
Knock. Yeah, you take that character and then you take his character in Replicas or whatever like that. The clone movie when he clones his family.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
That too.
Okay.
I think 4 people saw that movie, Mickey.
That was a good
one
movie.
Of them is on the show.
You.
Now there's talk in the chat for Keanu as Batman. And Alex Bonafante is joking that Last Action Heroes ... Expendables 4.
Ooh.
And there's some talk about
I love the Expendables.
There's also some chat about Mickey's Samantha Fox tee is dope as fuck, says Retrofiend Radio.
That's right.
Mickey, you're stylishly dressed as always. Hope to get you a role as one of the villains in the new Last Action Heroes.
No comment on Hawaiian shirts. Yeah. How awesome
I didn't have the toys. I didn't have the Last Action Hero toys. This is what I was focusing on.
Maybe the idea. Maybe you can go a little bit old school with it. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they're too old. I don't know. But like this is way out there. What if you had like Carl Weathers and Dolph Lundgren were the buddy cop team in the movie, right? Like they're older.
I can't. I can't. Too old? No, but I'm just thinking like I can't have Drago and Apollo Creed working together.
Why not? It'd be amazing. They would hate each other.
My mind isn't ready for that. Like I can't take that.
Is it too soon? It's only been like 35 years since fucking Apollo died.
It's real to me. It's real to me.
Why you all like Rocky IV? Listen, here's the problem with that movie.
Oh, here we go.
Not
what is
Rocky.
The problem with this
He's
movie?
not Rocky. I've always said this. He's actually Rocky.
You're just jealous because that movie ended the Cold War and nothing else could.
I understand the power of the movie, but listen, go watch Rocky V. He actually cares. He is Rocky. And that's it. And you all know it. I'm not saying anything that's not known to all of you out there.
This is the saddest comment that you've made ever.
No, I've made
I love it. 500 million people on the planet, and only one of them prefers Rocky 5 to Rocky IV. And
right
you are that guy. I love you for it. I do love Rocky 5, but only because I appreciate the hangover that it is after the fucking party that was Rocky 4.
Hangover.
It doesn't even have a better soundtrack. It doesn't even have a better soundtrack.
Oh, the soundtrack is just trash. It's the worst soundtrack of a film ever made.
Exactly.
The worst. If I hear Go For It one more time.
Look, I didn't say it was going to win the Academy Award on the shelves here, folks. I just said Rocky IV. You all support the movie when you know for a fact it's not a Rocky movie. You know
Rocky V, I will say this. Rocky V does have the best acting in the series.
It's not a Rocky movie.
Chase, help me out here.
I'd say the Creed 2 has the best acting in the franchise, but
Rocky
Rocky 4 is really just a lot of fun. It's got the stupid robot, but besides
the
that,
robot
it's
is
just a fun movie to
genius.
sit down and watch.
See, this is the
robot is
problem.
pure
The part
brilliant.
I like about it is that part, and you all hate it.
The
Why?
robot.
You
And
wanted it
someone's
when
cutting
you
it
were a
out.
kid.
The robot should be the hero of Last Action Hero. Sicko the robot from Rocky 4.
I
or
would
Psycho
appreciate that more than I did the actual movie. With the robot. if you busted out, if Last Action Hero started with the fucking robot from Rocky 4, I would have been like, oh my god. I'm like, am I gonna hear
playing Kenny
Survivor
Loggins
next?
and shit?
Am I gonna hear Survivor next too? I'm like, I
Kenny
would appreciate
Loggins- Yeah, Kenny Loggins could have fixed Last Action Hero. That's all they were really
Maybe.
missing was a
Maybe.
dope Kenny Loggins soundtrack jam.
Maybe that, but AC/DC Big Gun's pretty good.
Yeah,
What
I know.
about
that
if we-
soundtrack is fucking fire.
I
Oh
will
my
say, I
goodness.
mean, I'll say it. Everybody's always said it. AC/DC makes the same song over and over again, but damn it, I love that song. So anytime you put it in there, it's great.
mhm.
Now, I would agree wholeheartedly. Now, I'll add a wrinkle here for us. Is there, let me think of a way of putting this. Is there like a whole different way we could just take this universe? Like, does it have to be Last Action Hero? Like, could you do like a last rom-com hero?
Yeah, I was going to suggest like a last final girl, like maybe like Nev Campbell. You know, go into like the horror world or something. Yeah, I think you
that
could
could
mix
be
up the
cool.
genres with it and have a lot of fun.
See,
Yeah,
See, Chase,
that I think maybe
this is why I
a
like
more
you.
fun way to go.
you're thinking good ideas. This guy over here, Ian, he's talking about the English Patient and like shit that don't even follow. I'm like,
That
Yeah.
movie was the #1 movie of 1996, you son of a bitch. And that movie made every woman and man cry in that theater. I don't want to hear it, Mickey. I
I'll
want to
tell
hear
you what,
any
I will
more.
not go see last sappy drama. That's not.
I'll tell you what, English Patient will only ever be the third best movie that begins with E because Eddie and the Cruisers 1 and 2 also begin with E. And I know those are better films.
I'm out.
So
I'm out.
I'm sure Chase would agree.
I'm done.
And it's time for
no,
Ian to
no,
walk off
I'm
the show.
sick of this crap with Eddie and the Cruisers 2.
it'll never
There's-
die. It'll never die.
No, it
Eddie
did die.
lives.
It died
Eddie
at the
lives.
box office. There's one Eddie and the Cruisers. That's it.
That soundtrack soared higher than Kurt Russell and Sky High. I'm telling you, it's magic. It's magic. It is magic.
Not since Boom with Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor has the movie thudded so hard. God, I'm so sick of this crap. All right.
There's a lot of people in the chat saying they're too old for this shit right now, by the way.
I'm too old for this bashing of the English Patient. Doggone it, people.
But you're
Okay.
not young enough for
It's
Eddie
a
Lives
little, it's a
or
little, it's a little long. I will give you that. And there's a middle section that goes a little bit too long with the love affair. I get it. But that ending
It's the
will
same
make
guy.
you cry.
The same guy that doesn't. He's like, I don't sit through a movie that's 2 hours or more long, and he's talking about the
Yeah.
English Patient.
For love, I'll sit through it.
I know for a fact he watched like the 5-hour cut of Heaven's Gate too.
Oh, that's a good movie. No, see, I agree with Chase. I think there was a chance for this to be a franchise all on its own with different, aspects. I mean, that theater, and I know that wasn't in the original draft. I remember reading about the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka part of it. But that really is the thing that opens it up. I mean, yeah, how great, because the interesting part is this movie did come before Scream, and I think Scream gets heralded as the movie breaker, the rule movie breaker. That's the one where we learned all these rules. Last Action Hero actually kind of called them all out way before. So I think you could have a world where it's as you were saying, last the final girl, last action woman, or I mean, come on, how awesome would well, that's actually a good question too. Is there a last action hero with a woman in it? Do we have that movie there?
Oh, like a Cynthia Rothrock, I'd be
Cynthia
all for it.
Rothrock. I would be all for that.
Now, unfortunately,
Gina
she's
Davis
not
is
as-
actually pretty good at action. I mean, she only really did a couple action movies, but
Long Kiss Goodnight is a good movie.
Long Kiss Goodnight is an awesome movie.
I'll tell you
That
what,
is a good
you
movie.
know, fucking Bridget Wilson or Bridget Nielsen, either one of them in their respective times could have carried a movie like that. They may not have had the box office name, but you know, I think they had the stature and the presence to do it. There's lots of women who could have done. I mean, Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver, Jamie Lee Curtis, in their times could have fucking absolutely done that movie.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I just think about this. You know, Chase, you really got a point there. How interesting would it be to have Last Action Marvel movie? Like, you know, we're so ingrained into the Marvel movies now. How interesting would it be to take Last Action Hero but make it with superhero? And you bring the
I feel
superhero.
like that's kind of. I feel like that's similar.
It doesn't have to be like
a little bit.
Marvel property, but just a generic superhero, like a Hancock.
I guess that was kind of Hancock, yeah.
And Shazam a little too. I think, you know, the idea that a kid becomes the superhero.
Shazam with Sinbad.
No. That's let's not go down that rabbit hole. Who knows what timeline we came from? I think you and I came out of the time cop machine at different ends of the spectrum.
That's the cameo this next movie needs to have. You need to have Sinbad.
If we could have a last action hero with Shaq or Sinbad. Oh my God!
Take my fucking pure gold.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Pure
little Shaq Diesel
gold.
Shaq Fu.
Shaq Diesel.
Oh, dude, don't be shacked in a fool.
Come on.
Oh, that would be incredible. Yeah, at the
Can
time,
we rock?
You know,
what up, Doc?
Oh, that would be absolutely incredible. I would be absolutely all here
Who
for it.
Who are you and why do I just love you, Mickey? I swear to God. You always redeem yourself.
Well, someone else in the chat redeeming themselves, our good buddy Alex Bonafonte, who needs not to be redeemed, says, it is your duty as an American to love Rocky IV. I have to agree. I'm sorry we're so sporadic and all over the place today. We really do love Last Action Hero. We just can't help but talk about everything else because it's one of those kind of movies that they sort of throw in the kitchen sink.
I believe that I have freedoms in this country, and one of those freedoms is to hate a movie. That's actually the best part of seeing a movie. I can hate its guts. And I hate Rocky IV because, again, he's not Rocky. You know it. Everybody in this room knows it. Even Sylvester Stallone knows it.
What's your take on Halloween 3? Halloween III, Season of the Witch.
Oh, I like a movie. It should not have been called Halloween III. They made a mistake.
Okay.
I mean, I get the idea. Bad business choice. Totally get it.
So
a good movie.
You're open to fresh ideas. I can't help but wonder if there's like a last romantic comedy hero movie you could do in here or something where it's like, you know, granted they worked together once before and it was disastrous, but like a Julia Roberts and a John Cusack. Maybe I'm a little too nostalgic for earlier times. Maybe that movie should have been made 20.
Well, another movie that killed Last Action Hero was actually Sleepless in Seattle. Came out 2 weeks afterwards. So imagine, imagine this movie. You literally put a poster.
And that was a great movie.
It was. Thank you. I agree. Finally, they put a poster of Last Action Hero on a rocket, shoot it into space. What kills it? Dinosaurs and Meg Ryan. You can't. That's pop culture in a nutshell. That's just beautiful. And
you try to go too big.
That really is beautiful in a way.
You blow your load.
You blow.
And then what saves the movie back is like Blockbuster and HBO. It's the American way. It's the cycle of life, if you will, the yin and yang of the pop culture verse.
Yes,
like seriously, theatrically it didn't work because Sleepless in Seattle is better counter programming against Jurassic Park. If it's like you're burnt out on the dinosaurs, come to like a fucking adult movie, you know. It's not like if you're burnt out on dinosaurs, come to see Arnold shooting Uzis as Hamlet, you know. Much as like I want it all. I love all three of those movies, so. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. Is there anyone you could have seen other than McTiernan directing it? Because they wanted Zemeckis initially, and he came close to doing it.
I almost
thought, this is like Back to the Future 2, you know?
The only one I could think of is Walter Hill.
Interesting.
Walter
48 hours.
Oh God, Walter Hill. I mean, what is it? For every six chambered gun, there's always 9 bullets that come out of it. I love it. That's Walter Hill.
I would have said maybe Verhoeven, is because it would have just been so weird for him, and he loves that weird shit. Like he might have done.
I could have been. Yeah, I could have seen Verhoeven.
I could
see Verhoeven. What's that?
Landis,
you say? It would have been a lot funnier if Landis did it, I think
so.
More than Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah.
I would have loved Gary Marshall.
Oh, Gary Marshall doing this. Wow, that would have been wild. I don't know if he could have handled the action stuff, but maybe.
He would have made it a better movie, though. I'm like
That's true. The man only makes like great films. I can't argue with that. By that extension, we could say Rob Reiner maybe should have done Last Action Hero. He actually probably could have balanced it all.
Well, would have been better than North. Did y'all ever see North?
First of all, North is fucking perfection. And second of all, Rob Reiner's run, which includes North, is one of the best runs ever. It's like, I can't remember, but it's like from Stand By Me all the way to like North. The guy just made like hit after hit after hit. They were all great, and you know it. And you're watching, Rob. Come on the show. So are we just about gassed out on Last Action Hero, guys? Is there anything else we could throw into this mad mix? Any other, like where would you go if you had that golden ticket?
I actually agree with what everybody kind of said. I think Slater would have been a way better movie.
If I could go into any movie and I had the golden ticket,
I
know what movie it would be, Chris. Yeah. You know what movie I would land in.
Mickey would go into The Last Dragon and he would dance the night away with Lord Charles.
That's awesome, but I think I would go to Eddie too.
Son of a,
so I can see the concert. I can you know what? I'm gonna go. I would replace Rick the Killer Diesel. That would be me. That would be me.
You'd unseat Bernie Colson. Oh.
I'd have to do it.
Who's going to tell Patrick Dempsey he could be the love doctor of Beverly Hills?
I would want to go into Die Hard. Really? I think Die Hard or Ghostbusters. That would be the two. Ghostbusters would be amazing.
I would like to go into Die Hard just to give McClane shoes because, like, I feel so bad. Like, here, what size are you? 12? Hold on. Here you go. Yeah. Like, these are some Air Force Ones. Like, enjoy.
Buddy, there's a lot of glass upstairs there. You know, you're gonna need these.
So no.
I'd give him shoes and like a pack of smokes, and I'd be like, you're gonna have way more fun now.
I got to change my answer. Congo. I would go into Congo. Congo. Oh my God! Listen. Shut this off right now. Go on and watch Congo. Yes, I would go to that movie because that movie loves to love itself, and I want to be there for all of it.
That movie loves to love itself.
That would be.
What wouldn't you do in Congo?
That is a
Mickey?
fucking quote they should have put on the poster to Congo. This movie loves to love itself. Amazing.
I would be cliche and go into Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Star Wars. Huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah, why not? Last sci-fi hero.
Fly around the Millennium Falcon a little bit.
I just want a Star Wars comedy with Larry David.
Chase would go into The Last Jedi. That's where you'd go.
That don't get me started. I have this theory.
Sorry, haters.
That I have.
Love it.
Every movie that begins with last or the last somehow gets cursed and underperforms, right? The Last Starfighter, The Last Samurai, The Last Boy Scout, The Last Action Hero.
The Last Dragon.
No.
The Last Dragon. Didn't make enough money.
Stop right there.
Perfection. And so is The Last Boy Scout. They're perfect films, but they should be hailed as such, and they're not universally as they should be. Also, I do want to say in the chat before we wrap it up, our good buddy Dustin says, do not speak ill of North, Elijah Wood's best performance. He may be onto something there. I would neck and neck, that and Back to the Future too.
You mean you got to use your hands? That's
like
stupid.
A baby's toy. So before we say goodnight, guys, Chase, is there anything you have coming up in the works you want to let the people know about? Any, or just even where to follow you on social media?
Yes. So I'm a little indie author. I do some sci-fi stuff. I have 2 books out. First one, it's called Proxima. It's a sequel, just came out. Proxima, the Fall Dynasty. Basically, they're about. The first book is set in the 20s, and Earth is, crapshoot, it's dying and whatnot. And they all of a sudden they spot this alien fleets at the edge of the solar system coming their way. Scramble to sort of get off the planet in case the aliens are coming to destroy us. And they end up leaving the planet. They wake up 1,000 years later on their journey to another planet. One of the ships never made it out of our solar system. They turn around, and turns out like the aliens were coming to help, and now there's this whole like dual species society on Earth 1,000 years in like the 32nd, 33rd century. And then just things develop from there. It's a really fun book series. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not hard science fiction. I got this 3-star review the other day from some guy who complained it wasn't hard science. I'm like, I don't care about explaining how wormhole ship drives work. They work. Just go with it. And ships fly around in space and they shoot each other.
I just hear the comment. I hear
how lasers work and how gravity works in space.
I think we all hear.
Like, I just want to see spaceships shooting lasers at each other. Yeah, spaceships shooting lasers at each other. Aliens. There's wars. There's love. There's relationships. There's all kinds of things. Friendships.
It's a really fun
betrayals.
book. It's a really fun book.
Proxima.
Yes.
Cool. And not to be called Proxima, as Ian and I thought.
Not Proxima.
It was my bad when you're reading
it's
it.
Not Noxema.
Yeah. It's just like
Mickey, anything cool coming up in the world for you? Rick Barth on the line? Any closer to live shows?
Nothing right now. Everything's just like on the standstill, whatever like that. So just, watch me here.
All right. Well, we will certainly be doing that. I do want to remind everyone watching at home, of course, tune in next Wednesday night at 9 p.m. as we're joined by our good friend Bobby Master of the Still Fabulous podcast to talk about the Clueless franchise. And as always, if there's a particular movie or TV franchise that you want us to cover on a future episode of VCR Redux, let us know in the comment section on YouTube. And since you're already doing that, you might as well go ahead and like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlight, Rick Barth on the Line, Hollow 9 Network, and Pop Culture Punk as I untie my tongue. Till then, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we will see you at the movies.